War was finally declared and we were advancing into enemy territory. Our mission was to capture a bit of rural lands, rather useless, but it would eventually lead to some rather high grounds that would be great places for fortresses. We were aiming to push the enemy back as far away as possible and take as much land as we could. The beginning skirmishes were a bit long range, but we eventually started getting closer. Our advances, they couldn't be stopped by those flimsy ententes, but we started to notice that they already had set up their artillery, and we didn't have that much of an advantage. We decided to dig in. Recent advancements had shown that trench warfare would be ideal for our survival. We'd be using it to win this war. Though I attempted to build fast and in safety, I couldn't avoid getting shot in the head. Thankfully, we had some great engineers, and one flimsy death wouldn't stop our entire advance. Our engineers had finished the trench while our infantry was busy getting shot, and we were now trying to slowly dig towards them, towards the stream, and maybe we could use this stream as camouflage to run towards them. Though our advance was noticed quite early. Those sent to cross the stream almost died immediately, so I decided to go up the stream, tactic which allowed me to get close to them. I almost drowned slightly, started choking on a bit of water, but the tactic had failed and I was shot. Most of our advances were somehow repelled, so we eventually had to start defending our own lines. We realized that we were being pushed back after we charged about 3 times, and they did manage to take one of our MG nests and destroy the machine gun. I was unable to clear it alone, but the next day, when it was cleared, we would finally have a chance to charge. I ran through the mud. Well, I think it was mud. It's rather coarse. I ran through something, and we faced the enemy. They began to shoot at us, but our plan was rather solid. We killed the only person defending a front trench that they were trying to dig, and used it as a forward operating base for a few seconds. Though they threw a grenade in, and well, it's rather predictable, I died. Though these deaths were barely noticeable in the great war effort, we'd eventually take their land. Though they were starting to shell us quite heavily, our positions wouldn't fall that easily. This time, I was determined to go alone and skirmish. I no longer would rely on my weak allies. They weren't exactly very helpful, and well, I managed to encounter another skirmisher, an officer as a matter of fact. Made easy work of him, but I was wounded with our own barbed wire. It's quite obvious that I've only been charging through no man's land. I, however, was still rather scared. I was waiting for the allies that I had to charge. Lamentably, they were too busy fending off other flanking attacks, and barely any of them were attempting to charge. So I just held my ground in that hole I'd found and shot some of those French and Brits that I'd seen in my sights. But this wasn't the plan. I was gonna charge. I reloaded my rifle and finally advanced. The enemy would be able to shoot me quite easily if I wasn't careful, so I made sure to only advance when I was sure none of them were looking. I started running towards them, but something had managed to get me. A lucky grenade had ended my life once more. It was once again nighttime. Our charges had failed. Surprisingly, we thought we'd had an advantage, but they used the same strategy as us. Our trenches only got deeper, our positions expanded, more artillery was wasted, and another attempt by me, a futile attempt I already know, was hopefully going to succeed. Our front was rather undersupplied of artillery, and it was quite a wonder that almost all the trees were still intact. So I took advantage of this and snuck through them and finally got to the enemy trenches. I shot as many as I could. I threw a grenade in as soon as I realized there were far too many. And of course I'd failed. I'd been shot once more. Though this gave me hope, and I would try once more to attack. Large assaults would not work. It was up to the skirmisher alone to win the battle. This was realized by most of the team. Every German would go in alone on a suicide mission to try to kill as many as they could, perhaps even advance the line by a few inches. Though we were almost always outnumbered in every fight. This attempt ended rather fast. As soon as I got into no man's land, I was scared. I hid for a moment, and as soon as I came out, there were more of them, an officer and a rifleman. I had no chance. I died once more. Progress never stopped, however. We slowly pushed them back. They may have been able to capture some of our trenches, some machine gun nests, but they wouldn't be able to advance any further. Our forces were finally being able to push through. We had skirmished enough to realize that their machine gunners, they were all dead. We were able to charge through no man's land easily. And, well, the result was simple. We killed so many of them. The numbers of Entente that had fallen just kept on rising. With every single shot, one more of them fell. Our goal would finally be achieved eventually. We charged once more. This time we knew we'd break through. We'd finally be able to get to that one position we've never been able to reach. That one point we've attacked hundreds of times. All of our fallen would finally be avenged as we'd break through the lines. Our artillery rained down. We attempted to prevent any skirmishers from flanking us. And as soon as that skirmisher had died, the last one of them, we'd finally begin pushing. A final breakthrough. We'd captured the point eventually. They would not be able to stop us all. And this would be proof of that. As I charged, I was shot, but by now that was just a common occurrence. I'd been shot many times by now. I dressed myself, stopped the bleeding, and continued my advance after the artillery strike almost caught me. I threw a grenade just in case, and someone managed to get to my trenches, a fellow friend. We'd be charging up together. The breakthrough, it's inevitable. We were breaking through together. Making one last check to make sure we wouldn't be shot, we advanced. It was finally time. Some of our other skirmishers had finally broken through and captured the point. We were now gonna have to defend it, as if we'd lose it, we'd just be another painful charge. More deaths that we were unwilling to suffer. We were going to make this the last charge we'd be able to win all the land that we needed. This was what I'd hoped, at least. I got into a firefight with some of the British, and they have some great aim, I'd say. Sure, I had better aim than them. They missed many times, and so had I. I'd killed more, however. But they'd ultimately be able to get a shot off on me. I died once more. We didn't have the men protecting the point anymore. We'd lost the point. The fighting would just continue. Or at least that's what it seemed. I pushed once more. I was gambling that it wouldn't happen, and I died. We'd continue to fight for the front for far, far longer. And, well, I guess now I'll just continue to fight, just like I've been doing all this time. And I may be redeployed to a different front, but my reality won't change. I have people I have to kill. It's a lovely war, yes, it's a lovely war indeed.